Captain Clare Hayden. And this there is the next captain is Clare Bertola.
So my first connection to Naomhóg was in my childhood. My older brother Liam won a scholarship to West Kerry Gaeltacht, and my dad brought him down and I went along with him. My brother Liam was a great Irish speaker and passed on that love to me. And I used to stay there then as a student. Subsequently, when I was going to UCC on Scoláireachtaí Gaeltachta, and I used to walk down to Currachs. A lot of the time at night time, there's a beautiful windy road down to the Naomhóg where the islanders used to go to the Blaskets. So that they used to go to the Blasket Islands from that pier, and the boats were on stands. It was a magical place for me, and I used to go down there with my friends and we'd sit under the boats and chat and talk and enjoy the beauty of the place. And then when I was in my 20s, I met a man called Donegal. We used to travel around the country a lot, looking at different boats, different styles of boat, to the different Gaeltachtaí. So the connection to me is not just the boats, it's the language. The two go hand in hand, and to me, you can't have one without the other. It's not just a sport to me, it's not just a pastime. For me, the boats, the Naomhóg they were a huge part of my life and my family's life. My children grew up with the boats since they were very small, and Pádraig O'Donnell travelled to various parts of Ireland, and he studied the boats that were there, the different types of boats, and he learned a lot from talking to people and gathering information. It was a big thing to start that in Cork, to bring that culture to the city. And as I said again, the language for myself and Pádraig was a very important part of that. I teach Irish, and part of my job is teaching international students. So I have students from various countries: America, Spain, Brazil, Japan, China, France, I can't remember all the different countries. And as a part of their cultural experience, every year we bring them down here, we give them the opportunity to go for a row. So that connection is very important to me, because I always tell them, these boats are in the city, they're in Cork City, but they came from the west of Ireland, they came from the Gaeltacht area, and I feel we are honoured and are honouring that culture by having them here in our city. Lechéile. That's the most important thing. Lechéile. If we don't go together, everyone's all over. Okay. We use Irish in our direction, in instruction for the rowing. It's not just the boats, it's the language. The two go hand in hand. And to me, you can't have one without the other. So our yesh on the right, our chlé on the left, lechéile together, which is a big, not only is it when you row together, you pull together. If you don't pull together, you're pulling against each other. The boat won't go where you want it to go. So there's a huge energy flowing between the different people in the boat, the different positions. If you're in a four-hand Naomhóg, you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. But every person is equally important in the boat.
I've been waiting all my life for this. I sat into the boat and just the physical act of propelling the boat and the rocking motion, right? For me, it was a spiritual moment. It just felt so natural. It just moved me, figuratively and literally, you know. So that was it. After that, I was hooked. That was just slightly over 3 years ago. It was January of 2016, and now I'd say I've probably crammed about 10 years rowing into the 3 years, you know, because any opportunity I get, I'm always on the water. I'm in stroke position when I'm doing the steering and the captain is up the front of the boat, and we generally have the newcomers, like today now, Clare and Kerry, who's on this as well. She was the captain of the boat today, and we had two young French girls in the boat with us, and they managed, and eventually as time went on, they got much better and much more relaxed at it. I think if you don't overthink it, there's a certain element of like going back to your childhood in it. I think it's a rocking motion in that when you are rowing, it's a whole body workout. You're leaning forward, you're leaning back, and your whole body's doing the work. It's not just your arms or your shoulders. And I just think that rocking motion is something that's innate in most people. Obviously not in you, Stephen, right? But it's innate in most people. So you're leaning forward, you're leaning back, horizontally, you're leaning forward, and you get into a steady rhythm. And it's like Zen sometimes. It really is. The thing about the boats is that they're very simple craft, right? And there's no need to modify them. So for all the money in the world, you're wasting your time. you keep that tradition. Here is the boat, and the tradition is what we love about the boat. Here goes one past us now, yeah? You know? And so like, they're not ones for modification. Money doesn't matter. You make the boat, this is the way the boat has always been made. There's no point in changing because it's not the same boat then, right? So the craft itself is what maintains the tradition, right? And the craft, there's something honest and there's a romance about it, of course. And that's what attracts us to it. I mean, we have racing Currachs, and I've been in racing Currachs and I've rode in regattas, and I love them for what they are. But nothing will be as good as a traditional forehand Naomhóg for me because of its honesty. And I feel that when I get into it, that I'm at home, I'm safe, it's minding me. You can see the work that's gone into it around you. It's visible, it's not covered with plastic. You can see the stringers where they go in and where the nails have, and you can see, you know, the gunnels the way they are, and they leak as well, you know, but like, you know, and they all have a different character. Every single one of them have, you could make the same model boat, but each of them will have their own feeling about them, you know, and sometimes it's just impossible to define what it is.
What I really love about the boats is that they're made of very basic materials. They're wooden boats, they're made out of wood, they're natural materials, they're covered in canvas and they're tarred. We can row these boats quite easily if you get a few people to lift them down to the water. It's in the middle of the city, and they're such a traditional, holistic, natural craft. And what I love about them is the sound of the oars, the feel of the wooden oars in my hands. My favourite time for rowing is in the morning. I come down at 7 o'clock twice a week if I can, if the weather is suitable. I can't think of a better way to start the day. I come down, meet my friends, we go for a row. Sometimes we have a chat, other times we just listen to the sound of the oars and the water. And I always think of Martin O'Donnell's poem on Currachs, and the poem goes, you know, Tulbally fawn like Madi Rava, Corrachs ge Tatchan Claddy, the gentle lapping of the oars in the water as the currach full of fish comes towards the pier. Now, we're not in Cork, we're not fishing here, but I just love the sound of those lines of them, and I think of them when I'm rowing in the morning. There's something very connected to nature when you go rowing in the morning, and from a cultural point of view it's hugely important. So the language, the boats, the culture, it's a beautiful combination here in Cork City.